Well, I am super thrilled and honored to introduce you to Mona. Mona Das, your journey from being an immigrant to a senator is absolutely meaningful and extraordinary. So thank you for joining us on the Love Inspired Leadership podcast. So
thank you.
I'm so excited. This is going to be so good. Can you share a moment when you first felt that incredible audacity, boldness, and calling to believe that you truly belonged in those spaces of power and influence, even when the world told you you might not have what it takes, Mona?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's so wonderful to be here with you. It's an honor to be here with you, especially on such an awesome podcast. My story is just, it's so unique and it's so powerful. And I don't know about you, but I do my best thinking in the shower, and that is where my story starts. I literally was taking a shower. I was visiting my brother, and I got out of the shower and I said to him, I'm going to be a senator. And we both just laughed because it was absolutely preposterous. I am very classically Indian. Half of our family are doctors, the other half are engineers. So for me to say that I was going to be a senator was absolutely ridiculous. And we laughed. We just thought it was so funny. And it's one of those ideas that I had. I call them be-hags, big, hairy, audacious goals. And it was one of those ideas that I had that I literally put on a shelf because I didn't think it was going to be possible. And I didn't know how to get from where I was to there. And so that idea was on that shelf for years. And every once in a while, and we all have these ideas, we bring them down, we dust them off, they still don't make any sense. You put it back on the shelf. Well, fast forward many years later.
How many? How many?
Probably 8 to 10.
Okay.
I mean, many, right? And I had just moved to Seattle and I was walking my dog, and believe it or not, my dog Cleveland had more energy than me. And so when we would stop, if we were walking, he would pull and bark. And so I literally, Carolyn, I saw a sign. It was a yard sign and it said Pramila Jayapal for Senate. And I knew 4 things looking at the sign.
Yep.
And I was literally bawling my eyes out. My dog is barking and pulling, wanting to go. And I was just absolutely stopped in my tracks crying.
Good.
Because looking at this sign, I knew 4 things. I knew 1, she was a woman. I knew 2nd, she was Indian. I knew 3rd, that it said Senate. And the most important thing I knew is that I knew if she could do it, I could do it.
Absolutely. And it's those moments in time that you were open, ready, and curious.
Yeah.
This is one of my principles, being curious, always looking for those windows of opportunity too. And it was a moment in time that stopped you in your tracks. I love that because it's the truth. And you knew it was a message. That was a clue. It's like, okay, I got to listen right now. Okay, I got to take this in. And this is a message for me.
Yeah.
And
it really was.
And you owned it.
Yeah. Well, it just started me to realize that I could do it. I mean, because my family comes from these traditional backgrounds, like I never thought it was possible. I didn't think people like me did get into politics, right? And so I didn't understand it until I saw it. And I always say, you have to see it to be it. That's right. And that is one reason that I share my story, that I go on every podcast, like every event that I can possibly speak at, is because I want to be that inspiration for the next little girl, right? And my family came to America with $6 when I was 8 months old. And so for me to become a senator is absolutely preposterous. And I'm going to tell you the rest of the story because it is even more powerful than the beginning.
Okay, can we just pause for a second?
Yeah.
You said a statement that I want everybody to take away. I have to pause here.
Yeah.
Is you said, and I want everybody to really put on their deep listening ears right now, and that is you have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And that is a profound statement of truth. It's everything that I believe in too. So, I mean, I just wanted to be able to mark that moment for people as a takeaway. So you continue your story.
Yeah, thank you. It's really true, especially for, women, especially for women of color, especially for people from a different country. Like, because all of our role models don't look like me. I mean, when you close your eyes and you think of a politician, you don't see me, right? And that's what I want to change. I want to change that because we have to have more women in leadership positions in all aspects, because traditionally leaders have been men and traditionally leaders have been white men. And so how do we break those barriers? It's by people like you, by people like me, taking on these leadership roles and saying, I can do this.
And how do we take the leadership positions from a position of performance into a position of presence?
Yeah.
Because it is your energy, it is your commitment, it is your intention, it is your clarity, it is your purpose, mission, and power that inspires people.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's the truth. So here's my next question to you, just before you get into the rest of your story. So, making that decision, waiting 10 years, 8 years, and getting that sign. I think signs are clues. We have to come for them.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Every day, all the time. And how did you hold that? I call it holding that space for grace. How did you, and that is love. How did you hold that space for grace until you became a senator? Like, it takes amazing amount of inner resources to draw on to hold that when you're facing all this adversity, challenges. And I'm sure your story has something to do with that.
Yeah, it really does, because you do have to hold that vision for yourself, and you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else does. Because here's the thing. People in your life come and go. And when you have these big, crazy, audacious dreams, people will tell you in your own circle, in your own very close circle, you can't do that. And what they are saying is they can't do that.
That's right.
And you have to remember that, because not everyone is going to run for office, right? Like, not everyone's going to do it. It takes us a lot of self-preservation to do something like that. And for me, I heard a lot of people that I thought were, one of my very best friends disappeared. Didn't hear back from that person until the day I won, right? And it's like, love it.
Because
they can't even imagine something like that for themselves. So they don't want to be, they don't know how to support you. So they disappear.
Yeah.
And so for me, holding that vision and knowing that I could do it. And I will tell you, I had to knock on 8,000 doors to win. Wow. You want to talk about stamina? You want to talk about believing in yourself? You want to talk about putting one foot in front of the other? 8,000 times I knocked on a door to say, hi, I'm a stranger. I'm Mona, and I'm running to represent you. And here's what I believe in. And here's why you should vote for me. So not only did I knock on 8,000 doors, I also flipped a seat. I don't know if you know what that means, but I took a seat from one party to the other party. And that is extremely difficult to do. And I mean, much less a woman of color to do something like that, right? And so that's what this
hold on. We gotta pause again. We gotta get a piece in here because you're a profound woman, and I just want people to grasp and track with us so they can go through their own personal love-inspired leadership journey with us. Now, okay, you knocked on 8,000 doors. That took extraordinary determination. You did whatever it took.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what you tapped into within yourself to keep going, because 1,000 is also extraordinary. Let's be real here, people.
Yeah.
Yet 8 times that now?
Yeah.
So what did you tell yourself? What did you think? What was your mantra? Because you had an internal strength here that carried you through and forward. I want to know what that is. And so does our audience.
I'll tell you what, and no one's ever asked me this question, so I appreciate that you asked me. I knew my community needed to be represented. So where my district was, there were 148 languages spoken in my district. That means there were 148 different little Monas running around, wishing somebody had been there to fight for them and their families as they came to this country as immigrants. And that's what it took. And every door that I knocked on, and I saw a little girl. But here's my favorite story. I have a flyer, right? So my flyer had my photo on it, and my platform and all that. And I knocked on a door. It was an Indian family, and they opened the door. I'm gonna have to compose myself here. And it was a little girl. And it was about 5, and she was so excited to see my picture on this flyer, right? Because she's seeing herself, right? And she asked, of course, you give the flyers to the people so they vote for you, but she asked if she could keep it because she wanted to put it in her room. And I knew that I was making a difference in her life so that she could grow up one day and be whatever she decided to be. It's not necessarily to be a politician, but what is it that she saw somebody who looked like her or her mom on a flyer, and she'd never seen that before, right? So she wanted to keep it. And that is what kept me going, knocking on those doors every single time. And I will tell you, I met people who met me at the door with arms crossed.
Of course.
And I'm a very outgoing, gregarious, fun, outgoing person. And I can talk to almost anybody. And when you start talking to people about what they care about, and you tell them you care about that too, then they start to really listen, right? As they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is, for me, what I tried to do was make sure that people knew that I was running and I would listen, because most politicians don't listen. And so for me, that is one thing that I really, really wanted to get across in a very, few minutes that I had with folks, that I would take your issues and I would listen to you.
You did more than that, I think. You gave...
Well, that's why knocking on 8,000 doors, that's how you flip seats. You show up, right?
Well, you do. And with your heart wide open.
Yeah.
Your heart wide open.
Yeah.
And you are ready.
Yeah.
Like this is your life purpose and mission. And that little girl lit a fire of desire, which is what I focus on in all my masterminds. I have my 6-step aim high system: truth, trust, value, vision. You supported her to have a dream. You supported her to think about this power of possibility within her life. And you knew in that moment that you transformed her life. You could feel it.
I did. Yeah.
In your soul. That's what I call sizzling your soul. This is love-inspired leadership.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I just got truth bumps all over. And
I did, just so you know, Carolyn, I did use the hashtag lead with love. So that was one of my hashtags. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you're my kind of girl. Oh my goodness. Okay. I can talk about this forever. And I just really want people to pause and reflect on their own lives right now and think about what it is that you can be purposeful about, to think about your life. What's been the struggle? What's been the pain? What's been the issues, the blocks and the challenges that you can decide to do something to make a difference in the world, because your heart has to be wrapped around it. As an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a transformational senator, I mean, the only way you can do that is if your heart's wrapped around it.
Yeah.
It's to go from the head, to travel that 18 inches down to the heart. And your commitment is astoundingly inspiring. So you have championed so much in this journey that you've been on, and it's about, environmental justice, racial equality, and housing affordability. So this is where I'm curious. A huge part of what I do in my masterminds, in my speaking, and in my processes that I take my clients is I look at inner values. Core values. So can you give me even a description of 2 core values? Love is one of them for sure. We know that for a fact. Can you give me 2 core values that are your significant roots to what you make decisions from? It's what inspires you to keep taking action, to moving forward, to being love in motion. It fuels your courage. Can you give me 2 of those?
Yeah, I mean, definitely love is absolutely one of them. I would say belonging, courage. I would say the tenacity, right? The tenacity to keep knocking on those 8,000 doors is absolutely part of who I am. And what I'm kind of known for is like that grace and grit. Go ahead.
So let me dive, because this is my favorite conversations. Like I am on fire right now. I'm so happy. So this is my fuel. I mean, honestly. So let's dive into courage, because you ooze courage is what you do. So, my philosophy on life and business is we all have the same amount of courage. It's a decision. So tell me how courage represents itself in your life, and how that really is represented in those people that you impact. So it's 2 positions. Okay. So how does courage, how is that the foundation for you in your life?
Yeah. I mean, my family came here with $6, right? So that courage comes from my family. I mean, over like insurmountable odds to be successful in this country with nothing, starting with nothing. And I really do draw from that. Both my parents. My father has 38 patents in the United States, right? Like, so, like, his courage and my mom came here. She didn't know any English, right? She'd never left her little tiny village in India. So the courage that it took for my parents to go to an unknown land with a small baby and make it. Like that's where that comes from. And that is, and I will tell you, that is an immigrant story. That is why I believe immigrants, and right now there's a whole lot of things going on in our country. I know you're Canadian, but there's a whole lot of stuff happening about immigrations and immigrants. And I'll tell you, the immigrants are the backbone of this country. And every single person in this country is an immigrant unless they're Native American, period. So that courage comes from that. I mean, I am a 1st generation immigrant.
Right. So I loved one word you said too. This is what I journaled about this morning. I journal every day. It's grace. You said grit and grace. So tell me about what grace represents to you as a love-inspired leader to make a difference.
Yeah, I think grace for me is giving other people grace and giving yourself grace. And, I mean, you're not going to be on and firing on all cylinders every day. So the days that you aren't, just give yourself the grace and permission to live in it. Whatever you're going through, the feelings that you're having, you're going through them for a reason, and just give yourself that grace, right? And give it to others. Everyone else is fighting some kind of battle that you don't know. And you have to, as a human, as humanity, and this is what I'm afraid is being lost right now, is the humanity of it, because everyone can be a keyboard warrior. So how do we continue to give each other that grace? And for me, that's permission to take up their own space.
And it's a permission.
Yeah.
And I love what you said. I have a philosophy that a woman taught me when I was 18 years old. She gave me this key. And it's a line of decision. And it's a decision to give yourself permission to just be where you are, to accept it, to honor that, to just be in that state of acceptance and grace in what is. And I love that you mentioned permission. I think that, this where the world is right now, that's why I'm beginning this podcast, because the world needs more permission to bring love back to life.
Yeah.
And business and leadership in whatever role you play as, a mother, as a leader of a, billion-dollar organization. I mean, we gotta make it back home.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you emanate. And so here's one of my last questions, because I could hang here forever, is looking ahead, what's the boldest vision you hold for women's leadership and for the communities that you serve?
Yeah. I think the boldest vision that I have is that each of us are impactful in our own ways. And that's the work that I do now, is I work with leaders who want to make bigger impact but don't know how, especially if it comes to passing laws. I mean, I passed 28 laws in 4 years, which is unheard of. So I know a little bit about lawmaking, and I know a little bit about coalition building, and I know a little bit about making an impact. And each of our voices is important, and each of us can make an impact. And if you don't believe that, just remember, I came here with $6 with my family when I was 8 months old and became a senator and made 28 laws. And so therefore, if I can do it, you can do it, right? Like, it's one of those things where whatever it is, and your vision might not be to run for office, but whatever your big, bold vision is, your be-hag is for yourself, you can do it and you can make a difference. And I always end with my 3 mantras that I live by, which are dream big. You have to have the dream before you can move forward. And it is believing in yourself. And I talked about that a little bit already. Is you have to believe in yourself, because everyone else will tell you that they can't, which means that that you can't, but that means that they can't. And the last one is to keep going. You have to put one foot in front of the other. And I didn't become a senator overnight. I had a dream probably 10, 15 years before, and then made steps very slowly, sometimes very fast, sometimes very slowly, to make it happen. And each one of those doors that I knocked on, each one of those 8,000 doors was one step closer to my vision for myself and the future that I wanted to see for those little girls that were like me, that have never seen leaders that looked like me ever. I mean, we didn't even have Barbies that were brown back then, right? So, I mean,
absolutely. And, I just appreciate your commitment to keep showing up, to keep stepping up, and to keep speaking up, because that's what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
You are a girl. And so I thank you for modeling boldness, audacity.
Thank you, Carolyn.
To believe, to belong, and to lead with heart. Your story is a beacon for so many women who are ready to step into their greatness, to give themselves permission to live their life as a love-inspired leader and to own their power, their purpose, and their passion. So blessings to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And, how can people who are listening be able to join your work in creating more just, equitable?
Yeah, please reach out. Yeah, please reach out. My website is monadas.org. I'm sure it'll be in your show notes. So thank you so much. Look forward to connecting.
Thank you. Blessings to you and blessings to all the listeners. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on the Love Inspired Leadership podcast. If today's episode stirred something in your soul, share it with someone who's ready to aim higher. Keep holding your vision, anchor in your truth, and take intentional, inspired action, because love is all there is.
Hey, I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we are honored to have Carolyn Cooper's Love Inspired Leadership show as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com, and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift fold. Till then, stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.